Thanks for tuning to WION. I'm Srivastava. Let's get started with speed news. President Donald Trump imposed new sanctions on Russia's two largest oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil, due to Moscow's continued military operations in Ukraine. The US president said that his conversations with Vladimir Putin are good but ultimately do not go anywhere, highlighting the challenges in reaching a resolution to the conflict. Trump hoped sanctions on Russia's oil companies will help make Putin reasonable about ending the war. In fact, Trump even added that China could also have a big influence in this regard. Emergency crews in Zaporizhzhia are working to clear debris and assess damage after Russian drone strikes hit residential areas, injuring 15 people, including 3 children, and damaging numerous buildings. More than 120 residents have reported damage to their properties. Emergency crews are on the scene, sifting through the rubble to ensure no one is trapped and to provide support to those affected. In a landmark agreement, the Ukrainian president has signed a letter of intent with Sweden to potentially acquire up to 150 Gripen E-fighter jets produced by Saab. During his visit to Linköping, Sweden, Zelensky got a first-hand look at the Gripen capabilities, sitting in the cockpit and learning more about the aircraft's advanced features. President Donald Trump says that he's optimistic about reaching a trade agreement with Chinese President Xi Jinping during their upcoming meeting in South Korea. The US president said that he plans to discuss China's purchases of Russian oil and potentially restart China's purchases of US soybeans. People in New York took to streets to protest recent ICE activity just a day after a high-profile raid targeted street vendors on Manhattan's Canal Street. Demonstrators equipped with signs and drums expressed their fear and frustration, calling for ICE to leave the New York City. The raid, which followed social media posts from pro-Trump influencers urging ICE to crack down on African immigrants selling goods in the area, that resulted in 14 arrests, including some for assaulting federal law enforcement officers as well. Critics argue that ICE's tactics involve racial profiling and even detaining immigrants without criminal records. Qatar and Saudi Arabia have strongly condemned the Israeli Knesset approving 2 laws aimed at imposing Israeli sovereignty over the occupied West Bank, calling it a blatant violation of the rights of the Palestinian people and a challenge to international law. Qatar has called on the international community, especially the United Nations Security Council, to take urgent measures and compel Israel to halt its annexation plans. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio is visiting Israel on Thursday as President Donald Trump's administration works to reinforce a fragile truce between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. During his visit, he will be meeting Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and will also visit newly opened Civil-Military Coordination Center in southwestern Israel, where aid delivery and ceasefire monitoring are underway. Rubio's visit aims to solidify the truce and discuss regional security crisis too. The US military has conducted its 8th strike against a suspected drug trafficking vessel, this time in the Pacific Ocean, killing 2 people on board. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has confirmed the operation, stating that the vessel was involved in illicit narcotic smuggling and posed a threat to US citizens. The strike marks an expansion of President Donald Trump's campaign against Latin American cartels, with the US military targeting vessels in international waters. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has announced that the country possesses over 5,000 Russian-made surface-to-air missiles to counter U.S. forces in the Caribbean, emphasizing their role in key air defense positions to safeguard national peace and stability. He emphasized the potency of these missiles, warning that Venezuela is prepared to defend its territory against any potential threats. US and Panamanian forces conducted joint jungle survival training at the former US military base Fort Sherman near Colon in Panama. The exercises come amid heightened tensions with Venezuela and Colombo. The training is part of a bilateral cooperation program which involves survival techniques, tactical maneuvers, and even tracking in jungle terrain. It seeks to bolster regional security cooperation, enhance interoperability between the forces of both nations, and strengthen preparedness for natural disasters and even transnational threats. North Korea said that it successfully tested new hypersonic missile systems, demonstrating its growing nuclear deterrent capabilities. According to Korean Central News Agency, the launches involved two hypersonic projectiles that accurately struck a land target in country's northern region. It described the system as strategic, implying that they were designed to be armed with nuclear warheads. The tests are seen as a show of strength ahead of Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, a meeting that is to take place in South Korea, where world leaders including President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are expected to gather as well. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will virtually attend the 47th ASEAN Summit that is being held next week in Kuala Lumpur. Prime Minister Modi conveyed his decision to his Malaysian counterpart Anwar Ibrahim, stressing his commitment to strengthening relations between the two countries and enhancing ASEAN-India cooperation towards a more peaceful and prosperous region. In a joint operation by the crime branch of Delhi Police and Bihar Police, 4 members of Bihar's notorious Ranjan Pathak gang were killed during an encounter in Delhi's Rohini. The 4 men were wanted in several serious crimes in Bihar, including multiple murders and armed robberies. According to officials, the gang was planning a major crime ahead of Bihar Assembly elections. Indian naval ship Sahyadri participated in the sea phase of Japan-India maritime exercise and made a port call at Japan's Yokosuka for the harbour phase. A series of activities are planned during this phase, which includes cross-deck visits, professional interactions, and even sharing of best practices. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney aims to double his country's non-US exports in the next decade that target an extra $300 billion in trade due to rising American tariffs that affect investment and job security. The economic relationship between Canada and the US has fundamentally changed, with the US raising tariffs to levels reminiscent of the Great Depression. More than 75% of Canada's exports are currently going to the US, but Carney emphasized the need for Canada to diversify its trade, particularly with global giants India and China. He said that key sectors like auto, steel are under threat from US tariffs. Canada's free trade deal with the US is up for review in 2026. Delhi's air quality has turned severe as post-Delhi smoke and dust still blanket the city. Other contributing factors are stubble burning, and vehicular emissions, and even stagnant weather conditions, as per the Central Pollution Control Board. The data that's now available, AQI at Anand Vihar was recorded at 428, while RK Puram registered an AQI of more than 350. Doctors have advised residents, especially children and the elderly, to limit their outdoor activities. And news from the world of tech, social media platform Reddit has sued artificial intel startup Perplexity in New York federal court on Wednesday, accusing it and 3 other companies of unlawfully scrapping its data to train Perplexity's AI-based search engine. Reddit said in the complaint that the data scrapping companies circumvented its data protection measures in order to steal data that Perplexity desperately needs to power its answer engine system. The case is one of the many that's been filed by consent owners against tech companies over the alleged misuse of their crypto-written material to train AI systems. Meta is cutting around 600 positions out of the several thousand roles in its Super Intel labs as the company restructures its artificial intel division to be more flexible and efficient. The job cuts will affect Facebook Artificial Intel Research Unit as well as teams that are focused on product-related AI and AI infrastructure too. However, Meta's new formed TBD lab, which is developing next-generation foundation models, will not be affected. Meta's chief AI officer, Alexander Wang, said that the slimmer team structure will speed up decision-making and increase accountability as well. From the world of business, Asia Pacific markets dropped on Thursday following sharp declines on Wall Street, driven by renewed concerns over US-China trade ties. Japan's Nikkei, South Korea's Kospi, and Australia's ASX fell in trade. The Trump administration is now mulling new export restrictions on products that are made in China using US software, raising trade tensions as well. SoftBank shares tumbled over 6% after announcing $2.8 billion in bonds to fund AI investments. Disappointing earnings from companies like Texas Instruments and even Netflix weighed on US markets, which closed lower on Wednesday. Oil prices surged nearly 3% on Wednesday after Trump administration slapped new sanctions on Russia's 2 biggest oil firms, Rosneft and Lukoil, aiming to pressure Moscow over the Ukraine war. Brent crude hit $64 per barrel mark, while US crude rose as much as $60 per barrel. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called for an immediate ceasefire and warned of more sanctions if need be. The move follows the cancellation of a Trump-Putin meeting in Budapest and efforts to curb India's Russian oil purchases despite OPEC Plus production boosts. Oil prices remain down for the year amid trade and economic concerns. China has maintained its imports of Russian liquefied natural gas (LNG) despite the United States implementing new sanctions targeting Russian energy companies. These sanctions aim to curb Russia's energy revenue, but China continues to purchase Russian LNG, effectively circumventing the intended impact of the US measures. This ongoing trade underscores the complex energy dynamics between China and Russia, as well as China's strategic energy security considerations as well. Tesla reported a 37% drop in third-quarter profits to $1.4 billion, hit by over $400 million in tariffs, higher restructuring costs, and even lower regulatory credit revenues. Despite a 12% revenue increase to $28.1 billion, operating expenses jumped as much as 50%, driven largely by R&D spending. US electric vehicle sales got a boost from federal tax credit expiration, but analysts have warned that Tesla needs new vehicle launches to sustain growth momentum. CEO Elon Musk is now focusing on AI, robotics, and autonomous tech, with a key shareholder vote that is coming up that could potentially increase his stake to over 25% mark. Tesla stock dipped after the report but has recovered since Musk left the White House amid political controversies too. And from the world of sports, Liverpool have ended their run 4 straight losses in style. The Reds came from a goal down to thrash Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League by 5-1. They took the lead through Rasmus Christensen in the 26th minute, but 3 goals in 10 minutes saw Liverpool turn things around. Former Frankfurt player Hugo Ekitike and Virgil van Dijk, as well as Ibrahima Konate, all scored in the first half. Added 2 further goals in second half to complete the dominant win. After 3 matches, Liverpool are 10th with 6 points and Frankfurt are 22nd with 3 points. England's unbeaten run with the ICC Women's ODI World Cup is now over. Defending champions Australia defeated England by 6 wickets in Indore, sent in to bat first. England made a promising start, but battling woes returned and they managed to post a total of 244 for 9. Australia, who hadn't lost a single game so far, found themselves in trouble at 24 for 3 and 68 for 4. Centurion Ashley Gardner had and her unbroken 188-run stand with Annabelle Sutherland guided Australia to the win. The victory takes Australia back to the top of the points table. Global music sensation Rosalia brought the Spanish capital to a standstill after she officially announced her highly anticipated 4th studio album, Lux. The Catalan superstar, already boasting 2 Grammy Awards and 11 Latin Grammy Awards, captivated hundreds of fans who gathered at Plaza de Callao after the announcement was teased across social media channels. The spectacle was monumental in many aspects. The new project is scheduled for release on 7th of November, and early reports suggest that Lux marks a significant artistic revolution for Rosalia. Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Bon Jovi announced their first official tour since 2022, marking a highly anticipated return. The news arrives after the band's lead singer, John Bon Jovi, announced vocal cord surgery. The band will embark on the Bon Jovi Forever Tour. Starting next in July 2026, the 7-day tour itinerary will feature 4 nights at New York City. Later, the band will head to Edinburgh, Dublin and London in late August and early September. Music icon Janet Jackson was presented with the prestigious Icon Award at the 2025 Dancers Against Cancer Gala of the Stars. The honor recognized her enduring and profound impact across music performance and philanthropic endeavors. Jackson made a dazzling appearance on the red carpet in a sleek black Tom Ford satin gown.